The 2024 presidential elections is heating up like never before, with partisans on both sides declaring this is the most critical election of our times. Social media platforms are blowing up, like Facebook and Twitter, or X as they call it nowadays, with fiery rhetoric, and some extremists are saying that they will have violence if their side loses, and the threat of a civil war. Joe Biden's unexpected withdrawal just 3 weeks ago has only added to the chaos, turning this election season into a series of plot twists instead of character development. In the midst of the political turmoil, it would be great if the Republican Donald Trump and the Democratic Kamala Harris found at least one thing that they could agree upon. Well, guess what? They have. And it lies in that bittersweet taste of the tax code. Back in June, Trump was having dinner in his hotel in Las Vegas, a town where tips are known to drive the economy. As he tells it, his server came up to him to make small talk. And then she complained, "The government is after me all the time. Tips, tips, tips." Trump said, "Let me ask you one question. Would you be happy if there was no tax on tips?" To nobody's surprise, she said yes. And thus the campaign promise was born.
No tax on tips. No tax on tips. So waiters, waitresses, caddies, people that drive cars, people that get tips who have been harassed by this government, we're going to have no tax on tips.
More recently, Kamala Harris copied Trump's pledge. On August 10th, she addressed a crowd at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
When I am president, we will continue our fight for working families of America. Including to raise the minimum wage.
How exactly would that work, you might ask? Well, let me unpack that. Code Section 61 of the Internal Revenue Code addresses gross income. And it says, in quotes, "Except as otherwise provided in the subtitles, gross income means all income from whatever source derived, including but not limited to the following. Number 1, compensation for services, including fees, commissions, fringe benefits, and similar items." That's pretty clear that tips would be included even at this bougie Las Vegas steakhouse. But it shouldn't have to be so hard to pass a bill exempting tips from the general rule. In fact, Senator Ted Cruz has already introduced it. Of course, as with all things tax, the devil's in the details. Eliminating income tax on tips wouldn't help low-income tip earners, as they don't pay much in tax anyways. Instead, eliminating income tax would be a bigger deal for most, and it would cost Social Security benefits. And who exactly should have these benefits? Staff, bartenders, baristas seem like the obvious candidate, but what about hairstylists, nail technicians, bellhops, valet parkers, movers, scuba instructors? Congress would have to define tips very carefully. They'd have to sharpen their pencil and go to work. Otherwise, you can expect lawyers, lobbyists, and even tax planners to expect tips as part of their compensation. What sort of effect would this proposal have on the broader economy? According to the Pew Research Center, about 47% of Americans have worked a job where they earned tips at one time, and 4.3 million are working in jobs right now. The Congressional Budget Committee estimates that exempting tips from income and payroll tax could cost the Treasury between $150 to $250 billion, that's with a B, in revenue over the next 10 years. These days, it's hard for politicians on both sides of the aisle to agree upon something basic like, does ice cream taste good? Eliminating tax on tips may not be the most genius policy move, but the proposal is a rare point of an agreement in which a promise to be an unusually ugly election. And as always, we're here to help you navigate these developments. Stay tuned for more insights, because understanding tax policy might just be the best investment strategy that you can have in today's unpredictable market. This is David Tuck from Anvil Tax. Watch the next video as I'm going to unpack more and provide more great insight. Until later, cheers.